Dear President, we have a major crisis in the world, and it's housing affordability. You being the president, it is your job to get these people off the street and in a house or apartment. This is repulsive behavior for the standard of the American dream. Please make this world a better place. Sincerely, Arena Super and Olivia Carter.
Homelessness
compared to last year.
How can the president help prevent the homelessness crisis in our community? The question that everyone has been asking for the longest time.
Before we focus on how the president or even the government can stop this crisis, we first need to look on how it originally started.
The short-term things, I think there were aid programs during COVID that ended, and so the states had money from the federal government to help people pay rent.
What contributed to the crisis stems back to 2023 after the COVID-19 pandemic. Many government-funded programs like
the Emergency Rental Assistance Funds and the American Rescue Plan Act have ceased to exist, which put families in a financial bind.
Research also shows that with the constant increase in population, we cannot keep up with the dire demand of affordable housing. In an article by Bankrate states,
essentially, the U.S. has failed to keep up with housing demands of a continually increasing population.
Purchase real estate, there was things called redlining, steering, where they actually promoted blacks to only buy real estate in certain sections of a neighborhood.
a common question that occurs is, what is redlining? Redlining, which was prominent around the 1930s, essentially was America's way of containing African Americans to certain neighborhoods. Government officials would take neighborhoods that mainly African Americans and immigrants resided in and would mark them as hazardous.
Banks, lenders, and even the government repudiated loans and other benefits from people who lived in those zones, ultimately cornering African Americans into only being able to live in certain areas.
Wealth creation. Rents constantly went up, so the money that they were making in the jobs, more and more of that went to housing.
As a result, the average person paying at least 30% of their income to housing, it often leaves them making the choice of what they can pay for this month, as most rental facilities will not include utilities like water and electricity with the rent, ultimately causing policies to cancel.
People of color struggled to remain housed, and more than 500,000 people experienced homelessness. 10 million of the lowest income households paid at least half of their limited income on rent, leaving them without resources to put food on the table.
African Americans have been found to be the leading minority in the racial homelessness statistic, with a staggering 7.6% of the survey being overrepresented African Americans in need of affordable housing. Now that we have addressed the causes, I would like to talk about what we can expect to see from the president regarding the crisis and its solution.
The solution to homelessness is affordable housing. If we did not have zoning laws that made it illegal to build affordable housing, we would have more affordable housing and less homelessness.
Zoning laws negatively affect a society as they restrict the supply of housing by putting stipulations like only single-family homes in this neighborhood, or density control laws that restrict the amount of people that can live in a certain area.
Although presidents cannot dictate laws, they can, however, put certain stipulations on grants that can influence local laws.
The president can help relieve this crisis is to increase funds to government programs that help relieve financial burdens.
Similarly, increasing funding for the low-income housing tax credit program could really improve affordability by enhancing the production and preservation of affordable housing.
As said earlier in the video, the decreasing financial assistance has caused an increase in homelessness and struggling families. If the president would provide more funds to programs like Section 8 housing, who have already helped over 9 million families get into homes by assisting with the rent.
Another way the president can help with this crisis is to lower the amount of taxes.
I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax credit that we have given in a long time.
Even though the president does not have the formal authority to lower taxes, I really think the president should talk to Congress about it. Lowering taxes could be the difference between a family having the money to sleep in an apartment or sleep in the streets. With less taxes, that means more money for people and their families to spend on other necessities like food and clothes. That concludes our video. Thank you for watching. I may contribute to the COVID-19.
I may contribute to the COVID-19.
Alright, so.
Why?
Many government-funded programs